What's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. Now I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sitdown. That's right, folks. I certainly am taking advantage of my place of residence at the beginning of my vacation to set up that wonderful open for you, maybe telegraphing the movie I'm getting ready to talk about. But you know the drill. Pull up a chair, take a seat. I am getting ready to jump into my non-spoiler review for The Meg. Now, look, I have to apologize. This video, long overdue. I've actually done this video twice. I did it once, and then woke up and was like getting rid of files on my computer, deleted the wrong one, did it again, nailed it, I thought, and then came to learn that the way things are listed on IMDb are not always accurate. Li Bingbing is listed as Bingbing Li, and I did the entire video, as well as my live reaction, referring to her as Bingbing Li, and I didn't want to do that. But I did want to apologize. I wanted to make sure I got it right, because that's how the Seaman does things. So, let's get ready to dive into this non-spoiler review. And you know, before we got to dive into all the good things, and you saw my live reaction, lots of good things for me with The Meg. We got to start with the bad and end with the good, so you have a good taste in your mouth, and hopefully go check it out before it's out of theaters. Now, look, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, if you saw my live reaction, I thought it just fit right in with a lot of the other shark cult classics I love. Jaws, of course, is one of my all-time favorites, and not a cult classic by any means. But then things like Deep Blue Sea, even The Shallows. Shark movies I really enjoyed. And I'll tell you what, I will defend The Shallows. I thought Blake Lively did a great job in that movie. The shark was awesome. And this movie falls kind of right in that realm, except for the fact that it didn't quite deliver on one thing that I think a lot of the audience, as well as the actor and director, were hoping for. The Meg, their big campaign, it was like, pleased to eat you and opening wide. And if you check this movie out, you'll notice it's PG-13 and there's not a lot of blood or a lot of eating. And that's because the movie was supposed to be R, and both Jason Statham, our lead, and director John Turteltaub have both come out and said like they originally signed on for a different movie. But the studio wanted it to be PG-13 so it could be released to a larger audience. And I want to point that out because I know there are a lot of people that have been complaining that the movie wasn't that outrageous, and that a rated R version of this movie might have worked better. And I might agree with you. However, it's hard to disagree with the studio when you go PG-13 and put up box office numbers like this movie has put up. This movie was being projected to open to like a 20-25 million box office maybe. Open to like $40-45 million. And if you look at its total at this point, we're at $323 million worldwide in the box office. Huge numbers for a movie that was not projected to land such big numbers. And 90 mil of that has been in the United States, domestically. So big numbers, hard to argue with the studio when that's the case. So yes, could you have had some slightly more outrageous, fun shark moments? Maybe a higher body count? Sure. However, I think Turteltaub did a great job in being able to adjust and make this a PG-13 movie that ultimately, I think, succeeds a lot. And because of that, we're going to jump into all the good with The Meg. And like I said, it really, for me, starts with the fact that it takes itself seriously in the tone and way in which Jaws took itself seriously. I said that in my live reaction, and I don't mean this movie is as good or close to as good as Jaws. This is two totally different spectrums. However, I appreciate from the science delivery and how you deal with a shark that big. Taking yourself seriously in that respect, I appreciated that from this movie. And I thought it made it work. It made the movie believable. Like, if a megalodon could actually exist, maybe this movie could exist. It was delivered in that kind of a way. And I always like that in a movie, especially in an action movie. And especially in a shark movie. That's why things like Deep Blue Sea worked. The science aspect of it. And maybe not curing Alzheimer's, but the concept of why they were studying the sharks, why they were creating the sharks they were creating, made sense. The Shallows, the way everything is delivered, although outrageous that a shark would kind of chill there, with that whale and everything, it worked really well and took itself seriously. And The Meg does the same thing, and that's why I think ultimately those movies work, even the ones that are slightly more ridiculous than this one. And the other thing too is it's not just that it takes itself seriously, but it does deliver really fun action and good suspense. The movie opens with a really, really wonderful scene with Statham and his team, who are like submarine rescuers. They go in, they get attached to a submarine, get everybody out if the submarine's sinking or there's something wrong with it, and save everybody. That's what their drill is. And we open up on a mission with them. And it's a great opening scene to kind of set you up for what the movie is. It builds really nice suspense. It adds kind of like lore and myth leading into the main chunk of the story. And it was really fun. You're on the edge of your seat in that opening sequence. And then even once the main shark shows up, you do have a lot of fun. The giant squid scene that we've seen in the trailers a bunch of time, I think that might be one of those scenes people be like, oh man, that could have been crazy. And it really isn't. But it's delivered in a way that makes you kind of inch up on your chair. And it's beautiful. And that was, for me, something that was super important. Is the concept of a megalodon, right? Very much like Jaws, was the concept of seeing a shark bigger than what we had ever seen before. And with things like that, you want this sense of awe. And you get that with Jurassic Park, the way you kind of are just filled with awe and wonder of dinosaurs before the mayhem starts. And the way the squid scene works, it allows you to be in awe and wonder. Because where it's taking place, there's all this beautiful sea life and these interesting sea creatures. And then the shots of the squid itself attacking the submarine are gorgeous. And when the Meg shows up, it allows you to go, wow. Like, that is, you can appreciate it before the mayhem starts. So I really, really love that scene. There's a boat sequence that I think is a really nice tip of the hat to the original Jaws. It's not a recreation of anything that we know, but it was something that as soon as it happened, I was like, you gotta have that in a movie like this. And there was a twist to it that I really liked. And again, just really, fun stuff surrounding that scene. And then there's a Statham shark chase sequence where he's kind of like in a... He's in they call him like a glider, I think. These are kind of underwater gliders, and the shark ends up chasing Statham. And it's fun, man. You get to have fun as you're riding through and avoiding the shark. You get a little bit of an exhilaration for the action that you can deliver with a submarine. And then ultimately, I do love the showdown at the end of this movie. The way everything plays out for Statham to head one-on-one with this shark plays really well. And the whole setup leading to that is really great. And our ultimate climax to the movie really pays off. Now, I kind of breezed over the climax because it's kind of towards the climax. But the whole Sonya Bay scene, too, is, again, gorgeous. I mean, the cinematography and the shots, you're just like, man, I want to party there until a megalodon shows up. Add on top of that, I thought the shark looked really great. There are moments in this movie where I actually think they used practical, special effects rather than just CGI. But even outside of those, when the shark is on screen, the shark looks really good and it feels real. And Mana 1, the base that they're at, it's a research facility, is gorgeous, man. I love the way they approach this thing because when you get there, wow, man. I mean, look, you've seen that giant window, the one where the little girl, Shuya Sophia Kai, who plays Mei Ying, when she's standing in front of the glass window and you see the shark come, that window is one of the first things that we see, and we get to see sea life interact in ways that you've never seen sea life interact, with people before. So you get like a really wow right away, and then as you walk through the base, you get to see just really cool technology. They've got this awesome paneling system in the submarine that allows some really cool visual effects and to do some things that you're not used to seeing. The way they're able to set up lights and different things from the research out with the submarines are awesome. Those gliders are really cool. And then the headquarters, the mission control kind of center of the base, awesome, man. They have this massive kind of 360 screen in there. I love every time that thing is on screen, and the way that operates and the way they use cameras and communicate with each other. All the technology in the movie is really a lot of fun. And you get to see things that you're familiar with, but in ways you haven't seen. And I always appreciate that. Now, Jason Statham. The thing I love You forget that Statham can just win you over with his charm and his smile, and he does that the entire movie. And you get to see that here, man, because obviously he's not punching the shark. So there's not really any hand-to-hand combat. If anything, it would have to be hand-to-fin. And that means Statham has to win you over in this movie with his charm and his smile and his likability. And the two leading ladies really help us out with that. You have one I had to apologize for, but Li Bingbing, who plays Su Yin, her relationship with Statham is just fantastic. The sexual tension and the flirtation is just off the charts, and you're rooting for their kind of relationship the whole movie. And what was really cool is you had characters in the movie that were also kind of rooting for that relationship to take off, and that's fun. And they have all these moments with each other on screen that are just charming, man. The way Li Bingbing will look at Statham sometimes in the movie is great. Same way back with him, and just their interactions are they're natural, and it makes you feel like that flirtation feeling you get in high school, man, like that first love. And I loved it. But the thing I loved even more than that was his relationship with Su Yin's daughter Mei Ying, played by Shuya Sophia Kai. Her relationship with Statham is so good, man. They have inside jokes with each other. They have looks, a lot of eyebrow kind of stuff, and smiles back and forth. There was all the little things, and that relationship was maybe my favorite thing in the movie. And I just loved everything they did with him. Like I said, I love that opening scene, and then following the opening scene, we get to see him in, I believe, Thailand, and he's on a beach. Also, a great way to reintroduce the charming Statham. It was a really great introduction to him. The way they're able to bring him back into the fold of the movie, I loved how that played. And his action is good, man. Like I said, I love the shark chase sequence. And his final showdown with the shark, he ain't in a sub, man. He is out in the water. Spoilers. Sorry, that is a spoiler. But you do get to see Statham out in the water, and we've seen that in the trailers. And it's a fun sequence. And I just thought Statham crushed everything that he has to do in this movie. And then our other star of the movie that I've already talked about, of course, is the shark, the Meg. Like I said, I love the way he looks. But the other thing that I really enjoy with the shark, too, is the scientific angle they approach that helps make this feel plausible. The thing with the movie, that high body count that we didn't get, is kind of explained in the movie in the scientific conversations about why the Meg does or how the Meg reacts to certain things. And having all that in play makes all of a sudden that Sonya Bay scene go, all right, yeah, I wanted a high body count here, but it makes sense because there are specific things that kind of trigger the shark. And presented in a way where it's like, okay, I can understand the shark's motivations because it responds to this, this, and this. And then the conclusion, man, the climax of this movie is just really all the best stuff. You get the shark, you get Statham, their battle is really awesome, and then the ultimate conclusion of all of that, I just loved it. It gives you a shot that's just wonderful to see that involves Statham, where he kind of turns and sees something, and you go, wow. I just loved the way the movie ended. Now, but the other star in this movie, from the human side, of course, is Li Bingbing, and she is great in this movie. I absolutely love her relationship and her chemistry with Statham. But outside of that, she really holds her own in this movie, man. She gets a couple action sequences for herself. She gets some, one-on-one time with the shark. She really holds her own in this movie on screen away from Statham, and I really, really enjoyed just everything she was doing. Like I said, her facial expressions in the movie are priceless, especially the ones in regards to Statham. Spoiler-ish, you might see Statham without his shirt, and Li Bingbing may have also seen that, and the face that she makes, absolutely priceless. Makes you fall in love with Li Bingbing, and her timing, even in some of the comedic aspects of the movie are really good. And then her relationship with Shuya Sophia Kai, who plays her daughter Mei Ying, is also really good, man. You're rooting for that. Everything that surrounds that in the story, you're rooting for it. I love their interactions. All around, I just thought she really had a good time on screen, which allows us to have a good time in our seats. And then, as I mentioned, she is Sophia Kai. Man, this little girl steals your heart. Man, she is so freaking adorable, but she is also so freaking good. I've always kind of said there are two kinds of child actor. You have the kid who is a kid who can recite lines and deliver something, and that's great. And then you have these kid actors who are legitimate actors. Like, it doesn't matter what their age, they approach, movies like it's work, and they approach it professionally. And Shuya Sophia Kai is totally one of those, man. She delivers all of her lines really, really well, high level. Like I said, her interactions with Statham are phenomenal. Her interactions with Li Bingbing are also great. The emotional stuff that happens in the movie that she brings delivers really well. And her facial expressions, really good. When she smiles, it just lights you up. And when she's scared, you get scared. I mean, that shot of the shark biting the glass that we've seen in the trailers, we never see her face. And when you see her face in the movie, the way she reacts, knowing there isn't a shark there, you really genuinely believe that there is a shark there. And that's real talent when you're talking about a kid who is as young as Shuya Sophia Kai. I absolutely love her, and she was really one of the big bright spots in the movie. Now, I also really loved Rainn Wilson. I thought he did a great job being the multi-billionaire that is the source of all the money for this project. He's sunk all of this money into it. You feel that he has like a connection to that aspect, but it's kind of more money driven. Like, I don't want to sink all this money into something that doesn't get me what I want. And he plays that role really well. He's able to win you over, and you'll like him sometimes, but then he's also, because he's that money guy, he makes you hate him sometimes. And the back and forth plays really well in the movie, and the way his arc ends plays with that as well. And I loved Rainn Wilson's delivery, his performance. He makes you laugh, and he's a good distraction to cut away from the main action every once in a while with, as is the entire supporting cast. I really loved everybody in this movie. Ruby Rose shows up. I always love seeing Ruby Rose, and she brings that style and edge that you would expect from her. And then Paige Kennedy was maybe one of those like kind of surprise standouts in the movie for me. He makes you laugh out loud so much in this movie. He's a ton of fun. I absolutely love Paige Kennedy. Throw in Cliff Curtis. He brings you all the stuff you expect from Cliff Curtis. Not a ton of screen time, but when he's on screen, he's really solid. Winston Chow, who plays Li Bingbing's dad, he's really good. I love their relationship. They have some really awesome moments on screen together. And then Robert Taylor. He is kind of a big glue piece into the Statham story. And I thought their interactions and chemistry were really good on screen. And their story was really good. It set up nice pieces that kind of lead us into the main hub of the story. And I just liked everything that his character brought as far as the conversations and things that are going on leading up to the Meg showing up. So I loved all of that, man. And ultimately, I just overall really loved this movie. The Meg is so much fun. And it's based off a series of books, which means there could be sequels. And look, I think Turtle Taub and Statham have shown you, he really figured it out, man. Him and Statham delivered a PG-13 movie that I thought really worked. It's a ton of fun. There's room for growth, for sure. And if you came back with a sequel, whether it was PG-13 or R, the Seaman would be in, man. As long as Statham's in, and Li Bingbing's in, and Shuya Sophia Kai are in, and the Meg is in, I'm down, man. Sign me up. It was a ton of fun, a really good time at the movies. So that's all the Seaman's got to say about the Meg. Now it's your turn. I need you to hit those comments. If you've seen this movie, and I hope you have, a lot of people have seen this movie, let me know what you're thinking. Try to keep it spoiler-free or warn people if you're going to throw a spoiler in there. But hit all those comments below. Let me know what you thought about the Meg. Did you appreciate, it taking itself seriously? Or did you want that Sharknado action Meg movie? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. As always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe and little bell so you get alerts every time I make a new video. For the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, I'm the Seaman, and I'm signing off. Peace out. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? You're still here? Well, if you are, you might as well check out another video like this one or this one. And if you're new and haven't, would you please hit the subscribe button? See ya!